What is up, guys? Logan here again. I'm super excited to have you guys join me in another video. I'm on the futon right now. It just snowed, so I had to put my Christmas sweater on. But thank you guys for all the support as always. It really means a ton. Discord's popping off. The free one's almost at 1,000 members, so if you guys would like to join that, hop in the link below. So in this video I want to talk about the mindset of an options trader, but also just a stock trader, right? Because there's a lot of things you go through, or even if you want to focus on it more in your life, I think this is a great video to watch to learn how to do that. And I'll kind of break down what I do as a trader and how I stay patient and also don't get super emotional. And sometimes I'll get emotions, right? There's fear, there's greed. Sometimes that comes out of me too, because I'm a human just like you guys are. If we look at my portfolio right now for the day, we're hovering up about $1,000. And then a couple of my plays that I got going too, I'm rocking a lot of the spreads this week, as you guys know. So, it'll go up and down throughout. But I think a lot of people, if their portfolio ever made 1,000 in a day, depending on the size of their portfolio, they would cash out everything. And this is why as a trader, I'm not going to do that. So without further ado, don't forget to check the links in the description. I have a link down there for my CBD company. There's links to the premium Discord where you can get callouts from Maz and I. And also we just added a new trader, so I'm really excited about that too. So make sure to check those out below. All the support means a ton. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe on this video. Let's get right into this. So I would say the first thing that you want to work on as a trader for options, especially if you're working on your mindset right, is focus on your emotions and kind of see what causes you to get emotional when you trade, whether that is, going in with too much money or not really believing in the play, but also not having a full understanding of why you're making your decision or not having a goal. So if you can figure out those three things, it can really help you. So when I talk about goal setting and my personal goal of $500 a week, and if everything goes well in the spreads this week, I'll pull 445 off of the spreads alone. And I have a couple other plays that I've been working with. One thing that helps me with goal setting, right, is to pay attention to what it is and why I set my goal at 500 and what I can do to get there. And the reason I don't get emotional when you have a goal is because that is your destination, because that's why you set goals, right? Where I think when I don't have goals, I can just kind of throw money here and there, throw plays here and there, and then let's say I have 6 plays going and we have a red day and I have maybe 5 calls and maybe a spread or something, right? Let's say that happens. And I'm sitting there looking at all my positions falling and I'm trying to figure out why I'm down $30 here and maybe 60 over here, and maybe this one's back to break even and then this other one's still up 30, and then you start to go, do I sell the one that's up 30 or do I cut my 60 loss? And that's one thing that helps me with the goal, right? Because you can set it, you can get as many plays as you want going to achieve that goal by the end of the week. And when you make 500 a week like I shoot for, I'll make 100 today, 100 tomorrow, maybe I shoot for 200 on Wednesday, maybe, and then Friday take the day off, let your spreads expire, however you trade, right? Whatever your specific way of trading is. Now that's one thing that's really helped me handle my emotions, is just by having a goal. Kind of think about it as like you're cutting through the surface. It's the only way I can describe, because like surface level, you're like, I want to make all this money, let's see how quick I can do this, right? But if you just set a goal and you can get to that goal, if you hit that goal, or at the end of the week see like, hey, if these 3 plays I have going or these 2 or whatever, like if everything just keeps going on the way it is, like I'll hit my goal, then you're golden, right? Then your emotions settle down because you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm actually going to complete my goal for the week. And like that's one of the most fulfilling things, right, is when you hit a goal. Jordan Peterson, the psychologist, talks about this too, where he's like, hey, if you're new to something, especially if you're new to trading, I mean, he didn't say this about stocks, but if you're new to something, set the bar lower so that when you do start to hit your goals, you can really start to snowball and swing yourself. And he mentioned weightlifting back when he was in college as one of the things where he said he saw other guys in the gym lifting, benching 315 or whatever, and he's this little scrawny guy who at the time was only putting like 20s on each side, right, and just benching a little bit. So he was trying to explain to himself and also to the viewers that like that's a great way to do it as well, is to set your your goal's so low. Like I tell people when they start trading that shoot for $50 a week, man. If you make $50 a week, especially with just $1,000, I mean that's 5%. That is phenomenal compared to the index funds do about 8 to 10% a year. So already there in 1 week, or just shoot for something, that seems reasonable for your portfolio size, really is what I think about at the end of the day, so that you're not caught up in like seeing all these other people maybe making 1,000 in a day, or some dude you saw on Wall Street Bets made 100 grand doing some random play, to where if that didn't work out, he would have lost like 8 grand the next day. And that's like where the probabilities are against you. So that's one thing that really helps me. Also, I think another big thing as a trader and for your mindset as a trader is to really focus on the plays with the highest probabilities of winning. And I think those are the ones to shoot for. You see a lot of people spending thousands of dollars on out of the money calls. Maybe they're weeklies and they're just praying that the stock goes up because stocks only go up.
Stocks only go up.
Trading options already is a net losing strategy. You have a 30% chance of profit going into every single options trade. Now you have spreads too, where you can kind of move your chance around, right? If you have the amount of collateral, you could maybe get 70% chance here, 90 or 95, or play the probabilities however you want. But I'm just telling you, from a standpoint of how do you hit your goals on a weekly basis, you really want to look at just the probability of your trade making money, because that also helps and brings me into our third point, which is stop losses. Now these are super important. Because if you go into a trade with $700, because that's around the point where I get sort of emotional. If I'm going into a trade with like 700, maybe 1,000, especially if it's just one contract, because I can't average down without having to spend another, $700 on a play. So if you're going in with a big amount of money or a bigger amount than normal, this is where it's really important too, to keep your emotions in check, but also have a stop loss, right? Because let's say you go in with $700 and you only want to lose 10%, that's $70. You can lose $70 and bounce back really quickly. You could seriously lose like $200 and bounce back fairly quickly. But if you went into a $700 trade and did not set a stop loss and you lose your whole $700 investment, that's where fear sets in, right? And that's back to the emotions, but that's just not having the right mindset. I know a lot of people who say like, hey, Logan, great play, great call out. I just don't want to go into that one because, I'm too afraid I'll lose my entire investment. Now, I understand that, but the chances of that happening too are very slim if you have a stop loss, like even mentally or physically, right? But I totally understand it too. If you're like, hey, I don't want to shell out $400 for this play, even if you're only going to lose 40 to 80 bucks for a 10 to 20% stop loss, if that happens, right? That's the one thing that we have to take into consideration. Like, I totally understand that too. Like, there's trades where I look at Amazon and I'm like, is putting 500 bucks down right now, even though the chart's looking good, is that what I want to do? Do I want to sit and put myself through that as a person? Because you don't want to get your emotions rattled up. And that's why I do so well when we're playing these $200, $300 trades, because when we're doing those trades, right, my emotions are completely off the table. I know, like, hey, I got a 20% stop loss on a $200 play. If it goes down 40 bucks, I'm out of the play. Okay, $40. Like, to me, $40 is not the end of the world when it comes to trading stocks, right? When you have a weekly goal of 500, which means I'd have to get stopped out of, if I made 12 and a half $200 plays a week and I got stopped out of all of them, I would only be set back a week. And that's the power of goal setting, right? Because our whole goal with options is to build your trading portfolio, to make more money, to continue to build your portfolio, buy more stocks, take advantage of compound interest, all of that, right? That's the plan. Of course, sometimes it doesn't go as planned. You hit stop losses. Everything like that happens because that's just who we are as people, and that's just how the market rolls. So that's the other thing I really wanted to touch on. So we've touched on multiple ones already, like stop losses. You have to get your emotions out of trading and how to figure that out. And then the other thing too, why I'm up $1,000 today, didn't take any profits, didn't sell any positions, and I'm also not adding anything currently either, because I don't really like to buy on green days where, SPY's up 1.5% or whatever, right? Why I haven't sold anything today or bought anything is because I have time on my contract still, because I buy further out. I also have my spreads going, so that will be more realized profit towards the end of the week if everything goes as planned. And then also my long-term shares, I'm looking far ahead into the future of, hey, where is my portfolio going to be a month from now, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? And at 20 years old, right, my portfolio, even when I'm 22, like I've heard stories of people, and even the Stradman's a really good one. He's a fellow YouTuber who he was 24, 25, completely dirt poor, and then his channel, his business, his cars, all of that just took off, and he's 31 now, and he said he's gonna make like 2 million this year or something. That's just something that keeps me hopeful too, right? And I think it should inspire a lot of other people. Even as a trader, I look at that like, man, a lot of these people who starting out, maybe it's your first year trading, and maybe you're negative on the year, maybe you're positive, maybe you're up 50%, maybe you're up only 20% compared to the 50, right? 20% is phenomenal though. And you see all these people, maybe you only have 5,000 and you're up a little bit, like 20% this year, and you're like, man, all these other people, Warren Buffett, and you start to look at other people's success, and you got to kind of get back into your own portfolio, right? You have to get back into your own trading and like rethink why you're on the journey of becoming a trader. And I can tell you guys personally, like my goal as a trader is to make money off options and spreads and all of that to, number one, support my lifestyle, grow my Robinhood portfolio. But at the end of the day, I like to buy shares for the long term with my profits, because I know that 5 years down the road, since I didn't get caught up in today's emotions, that these shares that I pick up with the profits, instead of just like, oh nice, I'll just sit it in cash. So that's my main goal though, is because the compound interest over time is so incredible with stocks, with everything, and then also picking up these dividend shares. It's just a great way so that if one day I said, hey, I'm just gonna sit out, the VIX is popping, the market's too volatile, guys, I don't want to put $500 on the line and then within, a couple of minutes hit my stop loss, right? Because everything's going crazy. I can take my profits, buy shares for the long term, and if I do miss out on a trading day, maybe I'm sick, maybe I'm busy working on other stuff, you can really still build your portfolio in the background of your life, and it doesn't have to be something that causes you a lot of stress because maybe the market's up or down. No, you can roll your profits. And then also, let's say we do have a pullback in a sector and you've been rolling your profits from your plays into shares like I've been doing. So let's say, I'm a big fan of the REIT market. I think the REIT sector is a great one. It's still beaten down over the year in a lot of funds. So if we're looking at a lot of the stocks in the REIT sector, let's say you just loaded up on let's say you made $2,000 in a month trading, right? That's what I shoot for. And you rolled $2,000 into, let's say, ABR, right? One of my favorite stocks. And ABR at $14 right now, let's say we have another pullback and it's down to 7 and you're down 50%. Well, actually, now you're not really as stressed, right? Because, oh, that wasn't money I didn't have to work for, or money that I had to, take from my personal account and invest. No, that was literally pure profit. And pure profit, when you see your shares going up and down, and this is from my experience at least, and it's shares that you bought with pure profit off of trading, when they go down, it does not affect you in the slightest amount. Not at all. At least for me. It does not affect me. When they go down, I actually buy more because I'm getting a better price, so that 5 years from now, I look back and I'm like, oh, ABR, nice, okay. I scooped some at 5, now it's 14. Let's say it pulls back to 8, I'll scoop more, and then 5 years down the road, who knows what the price will be, but with their dividend payments and everything like that, you can continue to build your portfolio passively and also actively as a trader. So that's kind of the way I've looked at it. That's the way I break things down. But that's kind of the mindset you have to have as a trader is, set stop losses. Look at your investment as just one piece of the pie. Diversify. Start small. Pick up $30 here and there. Pick up 60, 80, whatever, right? Just pick stuff up here and there. Build this portfolio over time, and don't get so stressed out because you saw someone make $10,000 on the internet. That's one thing that I really, really want to get into people's minds, because yeah, maybe someone did make 10,000, but they're not sharing the 20,000 they lost the week before, or maybe they made 10,000 the week before that. It's really it's down to your portfolio. What do you want to be as a trader? You could even roll your profits into growth stocks. I just do dividend ones because I'm conservative with my money, right? I'm more conservative with how I play. Even though I have time on my side, I already put more risk into my money by playing options with it than most people do. Now, if I was to take those option profits by growth stocks, that could be a great way to build this portfolio even more. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of what would be safe through another pullback. Also, what's consistent income so I can know how much I'm making in that month and vice versa. And also how much to put into a trade, right? Because even I could get stopped out of a $200 trade, like I said, lose 40 bucks. And I start to look at everything else and I'm like, okay, all right, just 40 bucks. We'll get it back, and you just keep that good mindset. Where I think a lot of traders can get in that spot to where, you're down 100 on your $200. You're like, man, this is the last trade I was going to do this week. I'm down 50%, and it just really, really hurts. But if you invest money you're willing to lose, it's a lot easier on your mind. So always have, your savings checking all of that, right? Your long-term shares, because you can mitigate your risk. You can still make money. You don't have to always options trade every single week either if you don't want to. You can always take a week off. The stock market's probably going to be open for the rest of our lives. So week after week, we have a chance to continue to build our portfolios. So I just want to say that. Hope this helped you guys in this video. Don't forget to check the Discord links below. Also wanted to thank you guys for watching the last video, as all the ad revenue from that video went to the Children's Colorado Hospital Foundation. So I just want to say thank you guys for that. I already sent my first donation to them last night. So you guys are doing more work than you realize. And I plan on doing another one before Christmas. We just have to see where the revenue is there. I really appreciate all that. Like, you guys are seriously helping people more than you realize. And it's helping with so much stuff, especially during a time like this, COVID, frontline health workers. I really appreciate all the support as always. You guys are seriously the best. I'm excited for the future, the most subs we've ever had, the most engagement. It just has been crazy. So I'm so excited for 2021. I'll have more videos coming out soon, but that's going to be it for me today. But I hope I helped you guys with that. So even if you feel under the weather about your trading, or you're starting to feel bad because maybe you took a few days off, don't feel bad. It's just like getting sick, right? You gotta take time off work because you're sick, or take time away from the family because you're sick. You can literally bounce back in a couple of days and just come back at it, right? So just don't beat yourself up over this. This is a long-term game. So it's a really fun one though too. So that's gonna be it for me, guys. Have a great day, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.